Okay, good. Now we're going to start from the very, very beginning here. Blank page, I promised you. And the first thing I'm going to introduce you to is the staff. Okay? Now, the staff is just these 5 lines and 4 spaces. Okay? As they are there, they mean nothing. They're just lines and spaces. I have to start adding things for them to have meaning. Okay? Okay, good. Now, let me make sure I don't miss anything. I put everything in strict order. Oh, okay, so this is like, the staff is like a graph. If you graph out things, okay? So I'm going to draw a graph down here. Now, without the little numbers on the bottom, or even a title, it means nothing. Okay, you have a graph. What are we graphing on? Let's make a pie graph. Okay, number of pies sold. Here's 10 pies. Here's 20 pies, 30 pies. Okay, here's week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. Now suddenly it means something, right? Okay, the thing you have to add, the first thing you have to add is the clef. Clef means key. Okay, yeah. Okay, tell me if I lose you, because I want to make sure I really...
So where did the symbol come from?
The symbol came from the letter G.
G.
Okay.
Which means?
Which just means G. Now, let's go over the musical alphabet. Yeah, it just means G, I'm sorry. I wish I had something better for you.
Not
But I don't.
glyph or something?
No, because there are different clefs.
Yeah.
The word clef comes from Latin clavis, which means key. Now, music, where it gets really complicated is there's a bunch of different kind of keys in music, right? You have these piano keys, you have keys on your clarinet, you have all kinds of different keys. You have a key, which is a collection of notes, which is where we're going to go later. But this kind of key is kind of like your pronunciation key in your dictionary, or the key to a map. It gives you information to solve a puzzle. Okay, and the puzzle is, what do these lines and spaces mean? Right? So, the musical alphabet goes from A to G and starts over. Okay? And I'm just going to do this so you get the idea. That just means A to G and starts over. Now, if you look at the piano, can you guys see the piano keys from here? Okay. It's a repeating pattern. 2 black keys, 3 black keys, 2, 3, 2, 3, all the way up the piano. Okay. The repeating pattern repeats in that way because the whole A to G thing repeats again. All right? A starts here. Actually, it starts here on the piano. Then you have B, C, D, E, F, G. And then it starts again at A. B, C, D, E, F, G. G, sorry. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Okay? So where these little keys, these little white keys, sit in relation to the black keys tell you what note they are. What letter name. Okay? Do you want to see some stuff on there?
No, it's it's 7 keys.
Yeah.
And then it's A through, and then it goes up a higher tone. I don't know what that means, but.
It's called an octave. Octave means 8. So it
Yeah, but
jumps up 8.
Jeff goes, oh, there's octaves, and I go, but there's 7, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I do
They
remember
count.
that.
They count the first one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These 2 keys here, you see, I'm pushing the 2. Can you see which ones I'm pushing? Yeah, come around. Yeah, come on over. They're both exactly the same in relation to the black keys, right?
Okay, so
The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have C,
Oh, count
D,
twice.
F, G, A, B, C. Because C's are octaves of each other. Oct means 8.
you counted the first one?
Right.
So that would be
Count
A?
them both. This is C. Let's start at A to make it clear.
Okay.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. 8.
Okay.
So it's kind of twice.
Oh,
Right, it's counted twice. And there's all
Okay.
kinds of things I had to mix and match because it's all done based on, you take a string and you have a certain tightness. You cut it in half and it has a certain frequency. Frequency is how fast it vibrates per second. Okay, when you cut it in half, it vibrates twice as fast. You'll notice when I play these 2 notes, they almost sound like the same note versus if I played, right? That sounds like 2 very different notes.
Yeah.
The reason they're so similar is because they're harmonics of each other, really. Hi, Inga. How are you? So anyway, you basically are splitting that string. And when you go, you know, like, you have an octave, right? And then if you cut that octave like more or less in half, I think, you come down to here. So these are all divisions of that same string, if you think of that. Does that make sense to you?
Okay, so the first 8 or 7 and 1 is
Yeah.
same. Awesome, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Many times in music, you're gonna find they count the first one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay.
Is that 8 notes?
No, those are octaves. Octaves are the same note if you look in relation to the 2 black keys and the 3 black keys and the 2 black keys and 3 black keys.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? They look the same, but you can hear one's lower than the other, but they sound very, very similar. Versus if I were to go,
But it's not 8 notes between, I mean, the stages are not 8 in there.
you count the first note. In music, a lot of times you do that. You count the first note and it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Okay, so they're 8,
Okay.
okay, good.
And then if you were to do it again, you would count it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's just what they do.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
To make it confusing, why do they have to do that?
Just because there are certain
You know?
I can go
I'm
into
messing
all
with it.
kinds of how that string splits up, but the
Yeah.
bottom line, the physical universe doesn't really work with that string. They had to mishmash and do all kinds of weird tweaky things, you know, and this was done way back in the day, before we came along with our alphabets and our,
Oh, this
various
is true,
different
this is
things.
true, we put our symbols on it.
yeah, yeah. And
Before
it's,
language.
it's also changed over the years too, you know, things have changed musically and the notation system has changed. I don't know if you've been to Europe and you go into these big cathedrals and there's a huge book, you know, written. And it's got these square notes on some sort of weird staff and something weird at the beginning. And you go, okay, that's written music, that's written music back in the day. And they didn't have printing presses, so everybody stood around this giant book and they all sang the hymns.
Wow.
And the ones who couldn't see sat in front, you know, so I'd be like right up there. Is that working better?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, good,
So,
yeah.
so this is, there's an octave, an octave, an octave, an octave, an octave. And then
Right.
they have the half notes to those octaves on each of them as they come along. Well, we won't,
Are you
we'll
talking
get
about
there.
half notes?
Okay, no, never mind.
Okay, half
We have
notes.
odd note, odd note.
That's okay, half
Got
notes
it.
are time, they're not, when we talk about this, we're talking about pitch, how high or low a note is. Going higher in pitch as I go,
Yeah,
okay?
I meant the black.
Oh, the black keys, I'll go over
Yeah,
those.
never mind.
That's
See,
something different.
This
but-
is what exists in the physical universe.
Yeah.
How you describe it and call it and assign it numbers and everything else, that's all arbitrary.
Yeah,
So you
Yes.
can communicate.
Perfect.
It's just a form of communication. This is what's real.
Right, exactly, and they had a really tough time trying to squish and mishmash certain things in to make them work with that. You know, they had a certain, I don't even want to go there because it's a whole nother class.
when you say they making it work like the A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A.
Well, the people that decided what was going to be the music notation
Ah.
system,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
And it did evolve. It evolved, you know, for a while they had, they didn't have pianos, they had harpsichords, and they were different, you know, and then they had pianos. Okay, now we got a mishmash, we got to do this. What are we going to agree on?
Yeah,
Because it doesn't work in the physical universe.
that makes sense.
Okay, okay, good, good. So we were on clefs. Oh, okay, clefs, music alphabet, repeating pattern, black keys on the piano, we did that. Excellent. And the graph. Okay, so let's go back to the clef. Because the clef, as we mentioned, clef means key, and it's like the key on your map key that gives you information about how to solve the puzzles of the map. This is a river, this is mountains. If you don't have a key, you can't read the map because this is gobbledygook, right? Same thing with this. This means nothing without your clef. Now this clef comes from G, okay, the letter G. Now, I will tell you why. This should be here. This line here is G. Okay, second one. The second one up. From there, since that's on a line, the next space is A. Next line is B, next space is C, line D, E, F, G. Then you can go higher with what are called ledger lines, which extend the staff. They're just lines that you put so you don't lose your place. Goes down B. No, I'm thinking in terms of, no. Oh, that's G. Okay, F. I'm sorry, F. E. That looks so good. Let me get rid of that. Okay. G, there's middle, and then D. Okay, now, the great thing about this staff, the treble staff is also called, or treble clef. This is treble clef, or G clef. When you're playing that with this clef, you're playing this half of the piano, the high notes. Okay? All right, that's the treble clef. The treble, you know, I probably should get a definition for treble. To me, it means the higher notes. Probably that's what it means, but let's look it up.
When you're in your car and you adjust the, it's not treble, but it's the opposite of bass, it's the kind of, is that
It's the high frequencies.
Yeah, the high frequency,
So-
yeah.
kind of like when you adjust your speakers, is that, I mean, not the
In
same
a
thing as this,
way.
but just to try to grasp it a little more.
Yeah, exactly. It's not, you're not adjusting the pitch, but you are adjusting which frequencies you're gonna boost. You'll hear the higher notes more clearly when you do that,
Right.
right? It's gonna boost the treble notes. Tell me if I say something goofy. He's an engineer, and sometimes I make up stuff, not thinking too much, but I do. Let's see, treble clef, treble. Let's see if we have a definition for treble. Oh. High-pitched voice or sound. Yay, we were right. High-pitched what?
What's the-
Voice or sound.
where's the
Oh,
derivation?
treble. Let me see. Treble. Old French triple. I have no idea why. I would assume, it comes from triple, I would assume it's maybe they have 3 parts like that. A singer or instrument that takes this part of high-pitched voice or sound. Yeah,
Those three.
yeah, it comes from triple. I don't know why that is. We can speculate that maybe they had 3 voices at that point. I don't know. Works for me. Anyway, okay, so treble clef. Now, the interesting thing about these lines and spaces, and the ones I'm going to show you in a minute, is for every single line and space, there's an exact piano key that matches it. Okay? This G here is always, always, always going to be the G right here.
Right,
So-
are the two black keys?
Yeah, this is middle C. How many of you had any piano training? Anybody?
Long time ago.
Okay. Usually what they do is that you sit with your belly button in front of middle C. Okay, and then you put your hands on middle C and you start from there. Middle C, not because it's in the middle of the piano, because it's not. It's because it's in the middle of the 2 staffs, one of which I'm going to show you in a minute. Okay? That G is always going to be this G above middle C. Okay? It's not going to ever be this one or this one or this one, or any of the lower ones. Just always that. So that's nice. It's a stable datum for you, right?
Yeah.
So if you were going to sing it, la, you could sing it, you can play it on the piano, you can play it on your guitar, you can play it on the nose flute, you know, and it will still be that G, if you're really good.
You
at
know where
nose
it
flute.
is.
You can test yourself on the piano with your nose flute. Anyway, okay, so there you go. So then if you look at it, this G is this piano key, where is it? So that A above it, very next one, B, C, D. It goes up in a scale. It goes up line, space, line, space, line, space. Your scale goes line, space, line, space, line, space. Scale means, comes from the word scala, which is a ladder. Okay? So your ladder would look like this. Line, line, space, line, space, line, space, line, space, line. So each step on that ladder is another piano key.